They did that back in the days when they had phone books. Those really came in handy in all those years that we spent on the news together. Thank you, Lori. Thanks to all who made possible by your nomination and selection this great honor. My family and I are truly grateful. It's special to be here with Lori since we wrote the act back in 1999. As she said, they allow us to appear together once every 5 years. So we've set our calendars for the year 2020. Where that will be, we'll let you know in a little bit. We're right on schedule. We were very privileged to serve our community together in our daily news program for 16 years. And that was to an audience collectively estimated at that time, over all the years, of about 1 billion people. We had a lot of good and faithful and loyal viewers, and that was even before the internet. Thanks. I will not forget those occasions that were mentioned when it was you and I and Jan and John, more Slovenians on the news than they had to do down. That was amazing. Kind of like when Mayor Campbell said there are more Irish here than there are on Ackle Island. It's a similar thing with Slovenia and Cleveland. I suppose a journalist of any era would say that he or she was in the time that was most eventful. In my case, it was a career bookended by a number of significant international events. On one hand, Nixon opening the door to China, and on the other, Putin invading Ukraine. In between, it was a front row seat to similar events, all of great interest, but of deep personal impact to many of us here in this room, myself included. That was the nature of Cleveland, and still is. The fall of Saigon, 40 years ago tomorrow. The murder of the church women in El Salvador. The breakup of the Soviet Union, the liberation of Eastern Europe. The Lebanese Civil War, the end of apartheid. Chernobyl. The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. We could go on, couldn't we? This is a city where what happens virtually anywhere in the world reverberates. Focusing my news reports on the local impact of all these events actually brought a strange kind of recognition in the newsroom from time to time when something of note happened in a far-off place, say like Uzbekistan. You'd hear a yell from across the newsroom, "Go ask the ethnic, he's from over there somewhere." Actually, I tell them, I'm from East 79th Street, okay? Like all the honorees here this evening, I suppose it's that deep affection for our hometown here, whether adopted or native, which draws us to serve in those places where we feel we are called. That's a genuine trait. I actually call it a charism in Northeast Ohio. That selfless dedication of so many, and that would include everyone in this room, to answering the needs and solving the problems, not only in our own community, but across the globe. Having been part of this event since its inception, I look with great respect at the men and women who were the presenters and the recipients of the Hall of Fame Award in the past. Some, like me, were born in this country. Others were immigrants who came to achieve here in America that which still calls millions here to this day. They and their family, my wife Chris's family, your family, chose America because it was the land of liberty. And I'm sure that the story of my family and my wife's is not any more remarkable than your family's story. In our case, and in many of your cases, it was fleeing the tyranny of the various isms and ists, the tyranny of the communists and the fascists, the socialists, the Maoists, the Stalinists, the tyranny of Nazism, the Titoists, the Bolsheviks, the partisans, all of those 20th century misfits who suppressed and oppressed and tried to murder the human spirit and failed. That's why a generation or two removed, my wife and our children and our grandchildren thank God for granted us this precious gift of liberty. And that's why we stay. But the liberty that brought us here and keeps us here is now in play. The troubling and ominous signs of the opposite of liberty are around us. You know, over the many years I spent as part of the international community here, not only Eastern Europe's community, but all of our immigrant friends and their families from India, Asia, Central America, the Mideast, Africa, all those places where people still yearn to be free. Those years of breathing freely animate me and my family and make us very protective of the God-given rights that we possess. Liberty, you might say, is the sister of opportunity, and that's also part of the story of America and so many people here in this room. It's the story of the immigrants to Cleveland as well. We've heard all the stories this evening and in years past. This room is full of people who, cloaked in the mantle of liberty, answered also through that human drive for opportunity. I sometimes mention the story of the two Slovenian immigrants who run into each other on St. Clair Avenue. And the one says to the other, he says, "Hey, Jan, how long you been in this country?" The other says, 3 houses. Cleveland has been good and welcoming to many people seeking liberty and opportunity, my family and I among them. I'm glad to have been able to repay this great debt in some small way over the many years that I've been allowed to be active in the community. And I'm deeply, deeply grateful to all of you this evening for something my parents and grandparents and my wife's parents and grandparents could never, ever have imagined. Thank you.